Hi, everybody. I am so honored and humbled to be here with you today, and I can honestly say that there is nowhere else that I would rather be right now. I'm so inspired by all of you. Waking up this morning to images of hundreds of thousands of women and supporters of women's rights marching in solidarity around the world was so powerful. But this crowd, this amazing, wonderful crowd of people who I love and respect so much, my community, my hometown, you give me energy and hope, and it's exactly what I needed today. 43 years ago, a small group of inspiring and courageous women at the University of Idaho decided that they had enough of the way that the national landscape for women was limiting their freedom and their choices, had enough of being paid significantly less than their male colleagues, had enough of watching men advance in rank while women were skipped over for promotion, had enough of enduring workplace harassment, discrimination, and alienation based on their gender. These women and one man risked their jobs, their reputations, and their families' financial stability to demand respect, equality, and security for women at the University of Idaho. In May 1973, they filed a complaint with the Idaho Human Rights Commission and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And 1 year later, the university and the core group of the Women's Caucus, as this group became known, signed the Conciliation Agreement, which resulted in the hiring of an affirmative action officer and an affirmative action plan for the university. It resulted in job analysis, back pay for wage inequality, equal starting salaries, a high school relations program to implement good faith efforts to recruit female students, a female physician for the Student Health Center, and permanent funding for a director of the Women's Center. I owe my livelihood to these women, and I will never ever forget the sacrifices that they made so that I could be in this role today. Now, nearly half a century later, the social, economic, and political challenges that plagued women then continue today. And we know what they are because most of us live them on a daily basis. But I don't want to spend this time together talking about the many ways in which women continue to be oppressed and subjugated, because what I want right now is action. What will you commit to doing, starting right now, to protect the rights of all women as we move into a time in our nation's history that feels terrifyingly uncertain for so many of us?
We will rise!
We will rise! Yes, we will. And here's what I'm going to do. I pledge to continue raising my children to be powerful, critical thinkers, to question any authority that threatens their personhood, and to confront injustice wherever they see it. I pledge to start having those difficult conversations with people whose opinions and values diverge significantly from mine. I pledge to share my own story and to listen with an open mind and a loving heart to those of others who seek to be heard. I pledge to lend my support, my time, my talent, and treasure to organizations that support women, children, and families. And that you can all do this is to attend the Women's Center's production of the Vagina Monologues February 10th and 11th. February 10th and 11th at the Kenworthy. A large percentage of our ticket sales will benefit Alternatives to Violence on the Palouse. I pledge to be an upstander in my community and to challenge those who insult, discriminate against, threaten, and demonize other human beings. And as a newly naturalized citizen of the U.S., I pledge to learn more about our country's political system and work harder to elect local, regional, and national leaders who represent the interests of women and all those for whom liberty and justice has been elusive or just flat out denied. Let us stand with one another, inspire one another, and together lift up our hearts and our hands and our voices in unity for one another. This revolution needs to be strong and decisive and unified. This revolution needs to have us stand with and for our sisters all over the nation and the world. It must be for and by and with every single person who believes in women's full liberation and right to choose our own direction and path to a safe, productive, and fulfilling existence. We must fight for the rights of all women, especially those who have been historically marginalized and ignored by the women's movement. To my sisters of color, my trans sisters, my differently abled sisters, my sisters in poverty, my multinational, international, and transnational sisters, my immigrant sisters, my indigenous sisters, my queer sisters, incarcerated sisters, conservative sisters, sisters for choice, and sisters of faith. I see you, I hear you, I stand with you. I am you, and I will fight for you always. Thank you.